Hi, my name is Kian Moses, and today we'll be analysing Ozymandias by Percy Shelley. Now, the theme of Ozymandias is how art is forever, however, but power is temporary. That it really talks about the human experience, and the irony being that we strive for power, to have a legacy, and so forth. However, the only constant is that we will die and that we will be forgotten. This is an Italian sonnet with two stanzas, 8 lines and then 6 lines. The first 8-line stanza being more introductory and be more reflective, while the final stanza is more of an explanation, and it's got a more mocking and sarcastic tone. Now, Percy Shelley is actually a romantic poet, so just keep that in mind. And with the Romanticism poetry, it's obviously talking more about the arrogance of man and man versus nature, and how nature is permanent and man is temporary. And we do see that in here with the theme of art and the human existence. So now we start off with, I met a traveller from an antique land who said this, and the entire poem is coming from the traveller's perspective. So by saying I met a traveller, Percy is distancing himself from the messages from the poem. He's removing himself from criticism by having this third party be the voice. When it says two vast and trunkless legs, the trunk is referring to the torso, so it's saying that these are just two standalone legs, almost pillars. And it just gets straight into it, it's very direct. And they stand in the desert, followed by an ellipse. The ellipse gives its long pause to almost show how big and empty the desert is, just like the pause is big and empty. Half sunk, a shattered visage lies. The shattered visage being the broken up face, and it's by using the word sunk, shattered, we almost get this very visual description of a rebel debris. It's in no good shape at all. Whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command. Now we see words like frown, wrinkled lip, sneer of cold command. These words all have the connotations of a very angry, upsetting person. They're cold, as we see here. So obviously this visage is of a person who is not in the best light. It's someone who in their lifetime was probably mean, a jerk, so to speak. Tell that a sculptor wore those passions red, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them, and the heart that fled. Those are the final lines of the first stanza. So we see that this is a harsh criticism from the sculptor. The sculptor has these views of the person, that they are a cold person who's angry, who's never got nice things to say. That's what the sculptor believes, and that's why the sculptor chose to immortalize these characteristics of this person through stone. The hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. Now you can look at this in two ways. You can either say it's Ozymandias' hand. His hand is mocking the people by controlling them and telling them what to do, and his heart is fed on the other people's suffering. However, the hand that mocked them could be the sculptor's hand, as he mocks Ozymandias by immortalizing him in this very rude image. And the heart that fed being the artistic heart. So from the first stanza, we find out that Ozymandias is ill-tempered, not liked, ruthless, and authoritarian. Moving on to the next stanza, and on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings, look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. King of Kings has biblical connotations, so obviously now we know Ozymandias thinks of himself as a god amongst men. He thinks he's better than everyone else. And this reeks of arrogance and ignorance, to be honest, because at the end of the day, Ozymandias is dead. And what has been immortalized with him is not how great he is, but rather how ill-tempered and rude he was, because that is the way that his sculpture has been sculpted. Nothing beside remains. So obviously we have this exclamation mark. It's very definitive. It leaves a pause. Nothing beside remains. It juxtaposes his words. Look on my works. He's saying, I've got so much, I've done so much, and yet there's nothing beside him. He's in the desert. There's nothing there. It's to show that, it's to emphasize really how whatever you do while you're alive, it will go away eventually. And that is another theme of the poem that it really drives home in these final few lines. Of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the alliteration of the b sound, it's loud and it's almost got an echo quality, like b, to almost show that there's literally nothing. You can just go and it's forever. Nothing as far as the eye can see. The lone and level, the l, it's longing, it's this long expanse of nothingness, how there's nothing beside Ozymandias. So all of these are just showing the same thing. Sand, stretch, the s, it's got this sibilance to it, where it's almost giving it this immortal quality, how there will never be anything extra. And it's saying that the desert is infinitely expanse, is an infinite expanse. How the land and the nature will always outlive and outdo the people that occupy it. So that's what this poem is about. It's about the permanence of art and memory and the temporary actions and lives we live. If you have to look, so obviously that the way that the traveler speaks about Ozymandias, we know that the traveler has a very poor opinion of Ozymandias. He uses words like sneer, cold. He thinks that he's king of kings and that he's mighty. He's obviously mocking him while he uses these words. It's to show overall that the traveler doesn't like Ozymandias. He thinks he's rude. He thinks he's full of himself. And then the irony of the title itself, Ozymandias, is because, well, Ozymandias, of course, is the king that we're speaking about. And it's not that Ozymandias is being remembered for his works, it's that the poem is how he's being remembered. And it's not for this, it's not for his sculpture, it's for his whole character, which is cold, which is arrogant. Thank you for watching. I've been Kian Moses, and until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your family and friends, and leave all suggestions in the comments. Thank you.